Hey everyone, welcome back to Wix Fix. I hope you're having a fantastic day. My name is Ryan, and in today's video, I'm gonna show you how to create clickable repeater items inside of Wix Studio. Let's go ahead and get started. So here I am in Wix Studio, and what I want to do is start by adding a repeater. So we're gonna go to Quick Add, drag out a repeater into our grid, and we can just go ahead and stretch it. Now, the first thing I want to do is add 3 more items because we're going to be connecting this to CMS, and this CMS has 6 items in it. Now with this repeater, let's start by designing it by giving us a gap of like 24 pixels for the top and bottom. I also want to select the item itself, and I want to make the background color white, but maybe we want to add like a nice little border, 20% opacity, 1 pixel, and then maybe we want to round the edges to have it be a nice 24 pixel round edge. And I'm also just going to turn off scale properties. That way on all screen sizes, this rounded edge is 24 pixels. And I think that looks pretty nice. Now inside of this, what I want to do is add a container. So we're going to add a container, and this container is going to hold our content like our photo and text elements. So I'm going to start by stretching this and by removing the background color. I'm also going to apply a CSS grid and split this into a 1x2. So that way we have 2 rows. In between the 2 rows, I want to add a 24 pixel gap here, just like that. And inside of this top area, I want to add an image. So we'll grab an image, we can stretch it, and I want to make sure that it's located in the correct grid cell. We don't want it taking up both rows here. We want to be in just the top one. And then for the corners for this, we're going to set the rounded edge to 12 pixels. And just like we did with the repeater item, let's go ahead and turn off the scale properties. That way on all screen sizes, we will always have 12 pixels for the rounded edge. Next thing I want to do is just go ahead and add like a heading 5 here. What we can do is set this to be 100% width. And honestly, maybe even that's a little bit too big. Let's try a heading 6, okay? And we'll send it to the top. And then the last thing we'll be adding is a simple paragraph here. Maybe this could be like 13 pixels, and we'll set this to be 100% width. We'll drag it underneath the heading. Then we'll grab both of these and we'll stack these together. Perfect. And now if I grab the background container here, I want to set the value for the bottom row to minimum content. And then for the top row, I want to set this to auto, just like that. However, you'll notice that right now, this text and the image is kind of taking over the border that we initially set. So I'm going to scroll down to the position tab, and I'm going to add, let's see what 5% looks like. I think 5% looks pretty good. So I'm going to go ahead and apply that to all sides. So now we should have something that looks like this. Now, what I will say is for this repeater, I do want to connect this to CMS. So I'm going to grab the repeater item or repeater element, head on over to CMS connections, and I want to connect this to a data set. So we're going to select the news data set and press create. Perfect. And for the image, we want to connect this to the image. Then for this main heading text, we'll use the title text. And then last but not least, for this text, we can use the short description. Great. However, if I go ahead and preview the website, if I click on anything, it's not going to take us to the news article, right? So how can we do that? Well, because we have this item here, what we can do is select the item and we can add a button. So what we're going to do is to add a button, and we can just add any button. Now for these buttons, let's just go through them, and we're going to remove the text. And under the design tab, what I want to do is remove the background color. Then we're going to switch on over to the hover state, and we'll also remove the background color here. So now what we basically just created is an invisible button. And for this invisible button, we're going to come over to the size property, turn on advanced sizing, and I'm going to set the width to be 100%, and I'm going to set the height to be 100% as well. Now, if it's a little bit offset, you can come down to align to center, and it'll snap it to the middle for you. But now if we go over to CMS connections, we want the click action to connect to the news title page. Perfect. So now if I go ahead and preview the website, you'll notice as I hover over any of these items, our cursor is now changing to like a clickable link cursor. So if I open up, let's say news title 5, it's going to take us to the news title 5. It's going to take us to the news title 5 page, which is exactly what we wanted. Now, before I end the video, let's say you accidentally make a mistake and you accidentally attach the button to the interior container. You're not going to want to do this because if I set this to be 100% width and 100% height and I align it to the center, then when the user hovers over the item or the edges of the item, it's not clickable. It's only going to be clickable when they hover over the content of the repeater item. So you always want to make sure that if you accidentally attach the button to the inside container, that you just gonna go ahead and undo that. And if you accidentally added it initially to it, then just go ahead and delete the button. Make sure you have the item selected and not this container. You want to have the item selected. So if you have this container selected, you can either go to the edges and select the item, or you can use the breadcrumbs to select the item, or you can use the layer panel to select the item. Then you can head on over to the add panel and click on the button. This will add it to the element that you had selected. So if you have the container selected and add the button, it's going to add the button to the container, which you're not going to want. You're going to make sure you have the item selected before you add the button. Now it's just a little quick tip for you guys. That's basically going to wrap it up for today's video. If you all did enjoy, please consider giving this video a like and subscribing to the channel for more Wix Studio content coming out really soon. Thank you all again for watching, and a special thank you to all the channel members. It really does mean a lot. I will see you all in the next one.